Hey everyone, welcome back and let's write some more Leetcode today. So today let's solve the problem valid word abbreviation. It's kind of a long problem description here, but it's a bit more simple than you might think. I'll kind of focus, well, they do give us some examples here. So the idea is that we're going to be given a string and we're going to be given a valid abbreviation of it. Well, I guess it's not guaranteed that the abbreviation is going to be valid. What we want to do is determine if this is actually a valid abbreviation of this word. Now, what is a valid abbreviation? That's kind of what all these bullet points are. First, the description that they give us is that you can take any number of characters and then abbreviate them with the length of it. So if you took a substring of 8 characters, then you would abbreviate it with 8 and you'd get rid of these characters. Now, the abbreviations have to be non-adjacent. What do they mean by that? Well, I think this counterexample down here does a good job of telling you. So if you have the word substitution, you could take a substring of 5, abbreviate it with 5, and then you could take 5 more characters and then abbreviate that with 5, and you're not allowed to put 2 adjacent abbreviations together. Part of the reason for that is because it's kind of ambiguous, isn't it? If you have S, 5, 5n, well, does this mean 55 or does it mean 2 separate 5-length strings? And it's always supposed to mean 55 because you can't have 2 abbreviations joined together. So that's invalid. And they also have to be non-empty. I think that is kind of self-explanatory. If you have the string say or something, and then you put a 0 here and then a y, well, the 0 doesn't really mean anything. In addition to that, you can't have something that starts with a 0. So for example, if I want to abbreviate just the A over here, I can do S1 and then Y. But if I put a 0, 1, that is kind of nonsensical as well. Why does it start with a 0? We don't want any leading zeros. So they mentioned that over here. We do not want leading zeros. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory, and I think we're good to, get into this example now. We have the long string internationalization. I typically see this abbreviated with, I think, an 18. So I18n. Let me just make sure that's correct. We have 4, 4, then 4 more, and then 4 more here, and then 2 more. So yeah, I do believe that's 18. But this time, that's not the abbreviation that we're given. We're actually given this abbreviation, which is I, and then 12, and then another I, which is good because we wouldn't want a number to come over here, and then Z, and then 4, and then N. In this case, it is a good abbreviation, a valid abbreviation of this. But how do we know? How do we determine that? Well, the idea is pretty simple. We kind of just scan through both of the strings at the same time. So sort of a 2-pointer approach. And what we want to do is, so I have my pointer here and I have my pointer over here. The easy case, I guess, is when they both have a matching character. That's good. They both have I, so that's a pretty simple case. Just shift each of the pointers by 1. So now they don't have a matching character. There's a few things that could happen when they don't have a matching character. What if this was a 0? Because if they're not matching, we would expect this to be a number. Whether it's 1 digit or multiple digits, we would expect it to be a number. If it's not a number, if this was a character, and we know that everything in this string is going to be a character, but if this is a different character, well, at that point, we don't even have to continue. We can just immediately return false. For example, if the second character over here was an M, but this is an N, well, there's nothing we can really do. We can't just skip this M. So at that point, we would return false. Otherwise, we also would on check, is this a 0? Because if it's a 0, it starts with a 0, but this is a character. That's not good either. We want to return false. But neither of those is the case, so we're actually good. So now we know that this is a number, and it's not a 0. So now we want to know how many more digits of numbers do we have. So we would take the current pointer over here, let's call it J, and we would keep shifting it until we stop seeing numbers. So we see this number and we see this number, and then our pointer is over here. No more numbers. So we would just collect all of these numbers that we'd seen, 1 and 2, convert it into an integer. I guess you could take this string and convert it into an integer, 12, and then we'd say, okay, well, that's how many characters we want to skip in the other string. Let's say that pointer is I. So I'm at n, I want to skip 12 characters. So I would take my pointer, and this pointer is going to be j, but this pointer was here. I'm going to do a plus 12, which I believe, well, they kind of just tell us that this is that portion of the string. So that pointer will end up being over here at this I character. So then we would just kind of keep continuing with that two-pointer approach. So now we would compare the two characters, I and I. That's good. They're equal. We increment both of the pointers. We're at the z over here and we're at the z over here. Again, they're equal, so we're good. If they were not equal at that point, we would immediately return false. But thankfully they are equal. So once again, shift the pointers. We're at A now, and over here we're at 4. So now again, for this part, we're going to have an inner loop, which is going to keep looping until we don't see a number here anymore. And of course, while we're in bounds, because we could run into a case like this where maybe I have 4 and then I have like another 4 over here. And then we would eventually get out of bounds. And at that point, we would stop. And then we'd say, okay, we collected 44. And then from the pointer over here, we would shift 44 times. And well, at that point, we would be very far out of bounds, which would not be the correct result. So I'll show you how to handle that in just a second. But in this case, we do have 4. So we're at A, we'll shift 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're ending at the N. And now our other pointer here is going to be at N as well. They're both equal. We shift one more time, and now we're done. By the time we're done, we expect both of the pointers to be exactly out of bounds, to be one position out of bounds. If one of them is even further out of bounds, or possibly if one of the pointers is still in bounds, but the other pointer is out of bounds, at that point we would return false because that's not what we want. We want each of the pointers to be exactly out of bounds. In other words, when either of the pointers becomes out of bounds, what we want to return is, does I equal the length of the word, where I is the pointer over here? And also, does j equal the length of the abbreviation, which is over here? If both of these are true, then we return true. Otherwise, we would return false. So there was a lot going on here, but the code is going to end up being relatively simple. We're going to have a few cases and a couple loops as well. But you can see that the overall time complexity is just going to be proportional to the length of both strings. Let's say this is of length n, this is of length m. That's going to be n plus m. Space complexity, I believe, is going to be constant. We don't have any data structures that we're dealing with. So let's go ahead and code this up. So I'm going to have two pointers, I and j, initially both 0, and then we're going to have that main loop I was talking about. While both of the pointers are in bounds, we're going to do this. We're going to have a few cases, and I guess before I get into the cases, what we want to return at the end when either of the pointers becomes out of bounds, or possibly both of them, we want to return this. Is I equal to the length of the word? It's exactly out of bounds. Same with this one. Now, inside of the loop, I'm going to start with the simple case first. If the word at index I is equal to the abbreviation at index j, well, then that's a simple case. Just increment both of the pointers. Otherwise, there's the case where I want to return false. And I'm coding this up in kind of a clean way. You might not code it up this way, or this might not be like the first thing that came to your mind. I've done this a lot, so it kind of comes naturally to me. But we know that there's a case where we're going to want to return false. And that case is where they're different. We know that this didn't execute, so they must be different. And the character here is alphanumerical, or not just alphanumerical, but just a character. It's not a number specifically. Many ways to check that condition, because we know that the input string is going to be lowercase a through z, but Python provides us a built-in function to do that. So I'm going to do this. Abbreviation of j is alpha, just alpha. So it's a character a through z. If that's the case, we return false because we know that they're different and this is not a number, so it's not an abbreviation, so we would have to return false. Now, the other case where we would return false is, or the abbreviation at j starts with a 0. So this is equal to 0. Because we can't start an abbreviation with 0. Now, otherwise, we know that neither of these executed and neither of these, so it must be a number that doesn't start with 0, and we would just want to collect what that number is. There's multiple ways to do this as well. We could just keep incrementing j, like we could save where j initially started at here, and then keep incrementing it until it's no longer a digit. And then we could get that substring. That's one valid way to do it, and then convert that string into an integer. Another way to do it is just to have an integer itself. Let's call it the sublength. So this is going to be 0. So what I'm going to do is while j is in bounds, and this is not alphanumerical, meaning that it's a digit. So is alpha, and then we put the not here. So it's a character. While that's the case, I'm going to increment j. And what I'm going to do with the sublength is actually interesting. I'm going to take the existing sublength and multiply it by 10. And then to that, I'm going to add the digit here, abbreviation at index j, and I'm going to convert that into an integer. And this is kind of like, it looks complicated, but it's not. What I'm just doing is initially, this is going to be 0, so this isn't going to do anything. We're just going to take the digit, and then let's say it's a 4. This is going to end up being 4. Let's say the next digit is a 5. We're going to multiply this by 10 to make room for the next digit, and then we're going to add the 5 there. So we're just adding digit by digit. Let's say the next digit is a 9. We're going to multiply this by 10 and then add 9 to it, so we'll get this. It works out pretty nicely, and I think this is probably easier to translate into most languages. And after that's done here, we're just going to take the I pointer and shift it by that amount, the sublength. So just like that. And this is the entire code. Your code, again, might not look this clean the first time you write it. That's perfectly fine, but let's run it. And you can see here, not only is it a clean solution, but it's also efficient. If you found this helpful, check out Leetcode.io for a lot more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.